Hi everyone, how are you? So Antoinette Inglekay from Soaring to Source, another live um, uh, um, training for the Conscious Healing Facebook group. So excited to be able to do this for you all. I really hope these trainings are helping. Let me know in the comments what you think of some of these trainings so that I know whether they're helping. And so this live video this week is going to be about chronic stress. And that's a little sneaky little stress that we have. And so we're going to talk about that. But in order to talk about that, I would first want to talk about acute stress. So acute stress is when we're um, that you get that huge adrenaline rush, right? And some things happen where there's some kind of danger that's going on, and so when I think about that, I think about this time when I was out with my kiddos, and my oldest, got my youngest, my oldest just kind of took off on me, and that adrenaline rush and trying to find her, and it may have only taken me a minute to find her, but oh my gosh, you're under stress, your heart's beating, the breath rate, I mean, everything is changing. And when you're under acute stress. Another one is, I remember being in corporate America, and my boss would come up to me and say, I need 10 slides in an hour because I just got called to a meeting, So, you're under the gun for like 45 minutes or whatever, trying to get those 10 slides to your boss. And, the stress is going and the adrenaline's up again. And, again, that you're under stress. So acute stress is something that you really that you're under the stress. Now, a lot of times what people do, though, when they're under that acute stress and the stressor's over with. So I find my daughter and the stress is over with. We should be able to, within 10 minutes, get ourselves back to homeostasis. But a lot of times we don't. We don't because we don't know how to, number one. And number two, we get caught up in the drama. So, I call my mom or I call my husband and say, you're not going to believe what your daughter did to me. I'm buying a leash, we get caught up in this stress. We get caught up in it for hours, and it's so bad on our system. And it's because we don't know how to bring it down. Same thing with the boss situation. We get the slides to her on time and everything's okay. And then, you go, I would go to a peer of mine and say, oh my God, do you know what I just had to do with for Carol? Did you have to do that? So anyhow, you just have, we just get caught up in our own drama. And by doing that, we're causing the stress to stay. So, it doesn't mean that we don't talk about it with people, but we need to be able to talk about it in a way that we're not keeping the adrenaline going. We're not keeping the all that energy that's actually draining us, and, you're going where it's going. And so, for instance, if I was able to bring down the stress level around my daughter when I kind of lost her for a little bit there, yeah, I could have told my husband at dinner, when we got home and we were sitting there going, oh my God, do you know what Amanda did? And we need to talk about how we can deal with this. Instead of calling him immediately going, so. Anyhow, okay, so I'm not talking about chronic stress. I'm talking about acute stress. But so, I really do wish I knew what I know today, that I knew it back then, because how much healthier would I have been? So anyhow, that's just a side note. All right. Chronic stress is very sneaky and it runs under the radar. You don't even know what's happening. And I have got a perfect example of this. This happened to me just this week. So what's been happening in our home is we rent a home, and we live with our daughter, Amanda, and she's grown now and she knows she did that to me. And so we live with our daughter, Amanda, her husband, and my grandbaby. They live in the basement. And so I have my own, my own space, and which I need. Everybody needs their own space, and I have my own space. So, everything's going well. And then about a month ago, if you live in Colorado, the rain we've been getting. Not absolutely love the rain. We need it. We're so dry out here that we need the rain really bad, but we did not need it in our house. So we did flood about a month ago, and I've been dealing with property management about this flood. In the meantime, I got the kids living upstairs, and I have no living space. my private living space. I have no privacy, except for in my bedroom, and I really want more privacy than that. So, I've been dealing with it, and as a lot of you guys know, I do meditate daily, and so I think I've been dealing with it, quite appropriately. But the other day, earlier this week, I was an incident happened that again reminded me of how we're just, the way we're living, and because property management's not as responsive as I need them to be around this issue, and so. This incident happened. I go back to work at my stuff, and I'm at my desk and I'm working for a couple of hours. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, I'm really drained. What's going on? Why am I so drained? And so I sat back and I did one of my techniques that can help me, retrospectively go in and figure out what's going on. And it's pretty quick technique. And within minutes, I started recognizing the thoughts that were running in my subconscious. It suddenly became conscious. And oh my gosh, these thoughts were not very good thoughts. They were not very nice thoughts. They were draining my energy. And so I realized, okay, I need to manage these thoughts, and I need to get this under control, and I need to rebuild my my energy back up. And yes, I do need to call the property management company again. So, but before I do that, I can't do it from the situation, from the place that I'm in right now, because I probably would have snapped at the poor person at the other end of the line if I did. So I worked on my techniques. It took me about 15 minutes just to manage my thoughts and get them under control, and then also rebuilding my energy reserves back to where I needed them to be, so that I could think clearly while I was on the phone. So called property management, and I assertively informed them of the situation again, how we're living, and what my expectations were, not only around the fixing, but also around communications. And so they were very kind to me. And I've also been starting to get communications from them. Not only that, but they got me in touch with one of the vendors. And again, I assertively explained what was going on and what we've been living in. And I explained, my expectations around communication. And he said, no problem. Here's my personal cell phone. I will keep in touch with you. And he has kept in touch with me. Now, if I had acted like a complete witch, do you think he would have given me his personal cell phone? I highly doubt it. So because I was able to manage my thoughts, manage my emotions, and build my resilience back up, I was able to handle that situation appropriately. And also, I was able to recognize what was going on with, it took me a while. It took my energy to get drained before I realized something's not right here, and I need to figure it out. And this is the type of thing that I want for you guys. So, so let's go ahead and let's talk. I want to talk about some of the signs and symptoms that you could have chronic stress going on. It's a whole list of things, but if you have 3 of these, there's a real good chance you have chronic stress. If you have 5 of these, you do have chronic stress going on, and you need to start working with it and learning how to manage it. So, so I'm going to go through these. Of course, it's another huge list, right? All right, irritability. So that's, you're frustrated, so you're very irritable. You're easily, losing your temper. Change in emotional response. So if you're normally, a very easygoing person, and but now you're, snapping off. Your temper is getting the best of you. Most likely, there's some chronic stress. Emotional withdrawal. I mean, you're not. I'm fine. I'm not feeling anything. Okay. Change in social behavior, kind of talked about that fatigue. Well, that's where, I felt like I was completely drained. And so I knew, ooh, I've got some chronic stress going on, or I had a feeling. Headaches. I used to get headaches all the time. So now I wonder how much, when I was younger, how much my headaches were caused by chronic stress. Brain fog. That's the not being able to think clearly. Rapid disorganized thoughts. Oh my gosh, you should have heard my thoughts. No, you don't want to hear they were not very nice. Difficulty sleeping, digestive problems. What did we talk about last week? We talked about leaky gut. And the 2 big things with leaky gut and what's causing it is number 1, your microbiome is unbalanced. And number 2, chronic stress. So if you have digestive problems and you have two other of these things, you need to be talking to me. Changes in appetite, feeling helpless, perceived loss of control, low self-esteem. So handling that situation the way I handled it with the property management company this week, my self-esteem, my self-confidence was through the roof because I handled it correctly. So, think about that too. I mean, I think you want to, feel good about yourself, right? And feel good about how you handled something. Loss of sexual desire, nervousness, frequent infections or illnesses. Now think about this. If chronic stress, and it is affecting your gut, then 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. So you're going to be sick a lot. I used to, when I was younger, I would always say, oh my gosh, anything that comes along, I'm going to catch it. Well, guess what? I did. And I did because of the chronic stress. Not only that, my microbiome was completely off because of the chronic stress. Now I control not only my stress, but I do the microbiome diet. So if you're getting frequent infections or illnesses, you need to be thinking about this, aches and pains. And there's reasons for the aches and pains. And that would be a whole nother live that we could talk about, increased alcohol or drug use. So what are the things that we could catch? We could not catch, but we could end up being diagnosed with if we don't start managing the chronic stress. So these are things that could develop. There's other reasons for these to develop, but chronic stress is a main reason that could help it along. So heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity. A weakened immune system, we already talked about that. Sexual dysfunction, we already mentioned that above as well. Gastrointestinal disorders, mentioned that. Skin irritation, respiratory infections, autoimmune disease, insomnia, burnout, depression, anxiety disorders, PTSD, and schizophrenia. Lots of things chronic stress can cause, so or can attribute to. So none of us really want to get there. All right. So tell me, how would it feel if you were able to handle a situation the way I handle it, or do you already? Tell us about it. Maybe that's something that you do all the time, and you're able to manage your energy, and you're able to manage your thoughts and manage your emotions. Tell us in the group. A lot of people would like to hear other people's success stories. So even if you're not using my program, that doesn't matter. If you have success, let us know how you're doing it. So, but if you're not having that success and you really want to learn how to do this, you need to give me a call so that you can stop draining that battery of yours, that inner battery that I talk about all the time. And you can start handling the situations with more grace and ease. There's really in my mind, there's only one program that can help you with this, and it's called Quit SAD. That's my program. SAD stands for stress, anxiety, and depression. So Quit SAD is a program that teaches you how to manage your emotions, how to manage your thoughts, and how to increase your resilience. It also teaches you how to recognize that you're being drained, how to recognize that you have that sneaky under the radar chronic stress going on. So, and it does this with really cool meditation techniques. It's 3 minutes. You can do a lot during a situation. So this week when I was on the phone with property management, it was 2 hours that I was on the phone with them. It wasn't real easy. And yes, my energy would go down, but I have these 3-minute techniques that eyes open, I'm bringing that energy back up immediately because now I know that it's going on with this situation. So I know to be more cognitive of it and continually make sure that my energy is where I need it to be. So the techniques in Quit SAD, I'm not expecting you to be a guru. I'm not expecting you to sit there for an hour and meditate. I am, my techniques are for the busy person, the person that's out there that, can't sit for an hour and do a meditation, but they know, they know that they have the symptoms of chronic stress and they need to get it under control. 3 minutes. You could do it eyes open, walking. You could do it while you're driving. I mean, you could do these techniques so quickly and so easily in your day-to-day lives. So anyhow, So give me a call. The link is up above. Give me a call if you want to talk more about this and how this can work, what it looks like. And I'd love to hear from you. So anyhow, let's see. What are we doing next week? What are we doing next week? I don't remember. Oh, well, I'll surprise you. Okay. Thank